Good evening and welcome to Soups On 2021. Hi everybody, my name's Claire Ross. I'm the president of the board of Neighbors in Need, and I'm here with Alex Will, our MC tonight. And also many of you may know him as the associate pastor at South Church in Andover.
I think we're both the MCs tonight, actually.
I guess we are.
We're sharing tonight.
Sharing
That's right.
duties.
It's like New Year's Eve.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
Right.
And we also have Lisa Smith, our deputy director, who's going to be helping us out with some of the portions of the program tonight. And we'll have her say hello to you later.
Yes.
And Lucas Bacci, who's kind of behind the cameras and making it all work. We want to thank South Church for allowing us to use their YouTube studio, and want to tell you a little bit about our evening tonight. It's a mix of some live events. This is one of the live events right now.
We're actually here. This is not pre-recorded.
And some videos that we've made to tell you some stories about how Neighbors in Need has adapted during the last 14 months during the pandemic. Showing you how we have been serving over 1,200 families a week and doing it a little bit differently, but meeting the needs of the community. Before we get started, I want to thank some of our key sponsors tonight, our Golden Bowl sponsors, and they are the Merrimack Valley Credit Union, yay, Eastern Bank, and the Savings Bank. So Alex, did you get a swag box?
I absolutely did, and I actually have mine here with me.
Oh, let's see what's in it.
All right. Now, I have to confess, it doesn't have everything in it because I've already used some of it.
Did you eat the chocolates?
The chocolates lasted about 20 minutes.
Okay.
I kept digging because I think I had 3, and I thought surely there were more.
Yeah, there were supposed to be 4.
But you know, I think it's probably good that I only had 3.
Okay.
So,
what have we got?
Hopefully you have your swag boxes too, and you've hopefully already cooked your soup, because that will take a while.
Ooh, look, you got a nice bowl.
I love my bowl. I actually like this year that.
Ooh, you got a pretty one.
I like this one a lot. I like this year that we were sent a bowl.
Right.
Because you get a surprise.
Right.
As opposed to looking and agonizing over which one.
Right.
And then of course, a bottle of wine. A little split of wine, I think.
Yep.
So, and a wonderful mask too.
Neighbors in Need mask.
Neighbors in Need mask. So, and the soup mix is
the soup mix you
actually
already
behind
made.
us.
You
Yes.
made the soup.
We'll see
That's
that
right.
later.
All right. So for those of you who got a swag box, we hope you are enjoying yours. We do have a few extras, and so if anybody would be interested in purchasing one after our event, we'll show you some and give you a link later to tell you how you can do that. Some people donated items for the swag box. We'd like to thank Minuteman Press in Andover, the Eagle Tribune, Muffin Town in Lawrence, and Lindt Chocolates.
So you might notice something, and Claire, you definitely noticed, but everyone at home probably noticed that we didn't charge for Soups On this year, did we?
Nope.
Neighbors in Need has been stunned by the generosity of people like you and so many more in our community this year that has allowed so many to not only survive, but even to thrive during this time. And we owe all of that to you. And so as a sign of generosity and thankfulness, we wanted to make sure as many people could come and be here tonight. So tonight, it'll be a little different. We're going to talk about how Neighbors in Need, how the world has been changed by COVID, and we'll always show you, of course, the ways in which Neighbors in Need is having a real impact on families just like yours in the greater Lawrence area. However, that doesn't mean that we will not be asking for your support to make sure that we can continue supporting our neighbors during the rest of the pandemic and for many, many years beyond. Giving is really easy tonight. All you need to do is visit needfood.org/soup. There you'll see 2 options. You can make a pledge in which you can let us know how much you'd like to support Neighbors in Need, and then you can pay in any way you'd like with a check or another means in the future. Or if you're ready to give right now, there is a PayPal link there too that you can click on and give your gift tonight. And maybe you might give multiple times if you're inspired multiple times. So you can give at any point tonight. We will remind you at various points throughout the night, but whenever you're feeling inspired, hopefully you're watching on a laptop or you're watching on your TV, so you can just pick up your phone and really easily type in that link or click on the text we might have sent you and make your donation.
Sounds like a plan.
All right.
All right. And if you want to order a swag box, that link that those of you who have been receiving a text with the link in it, you can also order a swag box there. So we do have a special surprise for you right now. We have a very accomplished chef who's going to be doing a demonstration for you of making the soup that was in your swag box. So with no further ado, here's our accomplished chef.
Hi, I'm Ben Kellman from the Board of Directors of Neighbors in Need, and I've been tasked with helping to make the soup for Soups On tonight. Well, since we're not together, we've actually put together a swag box, and in the swag box we have a mixture for a 5-bean soup, and it has spices and herbs and bouillon in it, and also in the swag box was a can of tomatoes that goes with the soup. So I'm going to make the soup here in my kitchen. Some things that you're going to need, of course, are a pot. Get one big enough because the directions say 5 cups of water, add more water if you need it. So a big enough pot, not a little pot, not a little pot. I'm going to have my Soups On bowls ready, even though it says it's going to take about 90 minutes. I'm not going to keep you for 90 minutes. Have your measuring cups out, have your can opener, get ready to start making soup, and I'll do that now. We pre-measured 5 cups of water. I'm going to put that right into the big pot over here. And we also opened up the can of tomatoes. And I'll put that in also. As you can tell, this is a highly complicated process. And I opened up the soup jar, and right at the top was a bouillon cube. So I opened up the bouillon cube, and I'll drop that right in. And inside the jar, there's a bay leaf right on top, and also you can see a chili pepper. So all measured, pre-measured herbs are also in here. I'm going to drop those all in and let the beans come in. I'll let the beans come in. There they go. Also, if you don't like really hot pepper, you don't have to put it in. The directions say that at the end, before you serve, remove the bay leaf and the hot pepper. If you don't like hot stuff, I'm talking to my daughter right now, don't put it in. So we're going to put it on the heat. I'm going to stir it a couple of times. We're ready to go, and I'll see you in a little while with some soup. We let it cook for an hour and a half, and I checked it, and I put more water in and cooked it for another 35 or 40 minutes. I removed the bay leaf and the pepper, and now we're ready to taste it and see what it's like. So ladle out some. It's a pretty thick soup with all the beans and the tomatoes. Smells pretty good. It's pretty hot. Ooh, is that good? It's quite yummy. Soup's on. Thank you for supporting Neighbors in Need. And here's to the day we don't have to worry about anyone being hungry.
Thanks, Ben. You know, I'm glad you told us it takes a couple hours or more. Anybody was planning on making their soup during the tonights, I would suggest you wait unless you want to eat at 10 or 11 o'clock at night.
But thankfully, through television magic, Ben has gotten some of that soup over to us. We've got some. So would you like some?
I would love some soup. Shall we try it?
I think so. And folks, if you have some soup at home, if you've already made yours, I invite you to take this moment and get some. Oh, look at that.
Ooh, it smells wonderful.
There we go. And I'm going to get a little for myself here. All right. All right. Great. All All right.
And
how
spoons?
How about a spoon?
Excellent.
There we go. Spoon for you. Spoon for me.
All right. Okay, everybody. Soup's on. Ooh, that's good.
That is really good.
Good job, Ben. Thank you. Delicious.
It is worth the 2-hour wait.
I think it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, Claire, as I eat this, I'm aware that during these last 14 months, you know, I haven't once thought about where I was going to get my food from. You know, I haven't opened my fridge and worried it would be empty. I haven't gone to bed hungry. And thanks to Neighbors in Need, a lot of people haven't either. But the world has changed because of COVID. In fact, studies have found that food insecurity has doubled during this time of COVID. And for folks at home, here is Ben again to tell us a bit more about how the world has changed during the last 14 months.
I'm Ben Kellman, a member of the Board of Directors of Neighbors in Need. But more importantly, I'm a regular volunteer. In March 2020, a wave was rolling across our planet. We didn't quite see what the impact was going to be, but boy, oh boy, we soon had to react very quickly. All kinds of businesses had to change their business model. So many had to shut down or radically alter how they perform the most basic operations. Theaters, restaurants, gyms, yoga studios, churches, mosques, synagogues, bus and airline routes, supermarkets, drugstores, town offices, home services, food pantries. Neighbors in Need had to adapt quickly to continue to support their food-scarce families. Executive Director Linda Zimmerman left the Neighbors in Need offices on March 11th, not knowing she wasn't going to return in person to work for over a year.
Indeed, Ben, who could have imagined last March exactly what was ahead of us? We were faced with a huge challenge as the world shut down to deal with the pandemic. The churches, school, community center, and after-school centers where we held our pantries all closed. Now what? How could we keep providing food to the families in neighborhoods who so desperately needed it? Lawrence is a gateway city that has been especially hard hit by the pandemic, with over 20,000 cases so far. The incidence of obesity, diabetes, premature cardiovascular disease are all twice the state average. Many live in multi-generational families, often in overcrowded apartments, and many are essential workers. These factors put the families that we serve at increased risk for the COVID complications. Stopping operations was just not an option. Prior to the COVID pandemic, Neighbors in Need was serving 800 families each week at our 13 client choice pantries. In 3 short weeks, we completely changed our operations so that we could safely meet the needs of those most vulnerable in the community, while making sure that our volunteers, our staff, and our clients were all as safe as possible. We transitioned from indoor client choice shopping pantries to handing out pre-packed bags of groceries. Some were outdoor grab-and-go locations, distributing bags off of the back of the truck in parking lots. Some were drive-through in Andover and Methuen. And in partnership with the Lawrence Public Health Department, the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center, and Partners in Health COVID Tracing Team, we are currently delivering to 100 families a week in their homes. To produce and distribute hundreds of bags of groceries, we have an army of volunteers packing at the warehouse, packing diapers at the office, packing at the Methuen drive-thru location, and making deliveries. We are still distributing food in 11 locations each week. In the past year, food demand at Neighbors in Need has steadily increased to more than 1,200 families this week. It has been a very complicated and challenging year. It's also been a year full of amazing generosity, as so many came forward to help. We could not have continued to serve our community without the help of so many. Thanks to everyone who stepped up to donate, to volunteer, to raise money. I am extremely grateful. Thank you.
And thank you, Linda, for demonstrating leadership, immediately recognizing that we needed to totally change the way we do business, and to you and Lisa for executing on that plan. You know, things were changing minute by minute with state regulations, federal regulations, new information from the CDC. You're dealing with people's fears and increased needs of our clients, and somehow, despite all of that, you guys managed to make it work while the rest of us were sitting at home watching news reports about COVID and probably watching a little bit of Netflix. So we're really grateful. Thank you so much for that.
Indeed. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you to you too for your role and your work, and everyone on Neighbors in Need who has made so much happen over the last 14 months. I wonder for folks at home, hope maybe you made your soup in advance. Have you been eating it? I hope you're having some sort of dinner, I hope, if you're hungry there. Maybe you're just eating the chocolates because I ate those pretty fast, as you know. So.
Okay, that's okay. They were supposed to be eaten, so
Thank you.
that's a
I
good thing.
appreciate that.
You know, if you are enjoying soup now, I bet it's not quite as tasty as some of the soups that you've gotten to eat at Soups On in previous years. And we kind of turned the tables a little bit this year. We have a lot of restaurants that have donated soups to Soups On when we've been able to do it live. And a lot of those restaurants have been struggling this year. So rather than asking them for something, we purchased some gift cards and from those soup donors, and we're going to raffle some of those off tonight to some of the people that are logged on with us. So why don't we do some raffles?
I love that idea. I love giving stuff away. I love giving stuff away.
Who's first?
First up, we have Andolini's, a $50 gift card to Andolini's. I remember their Italian wedding soup from 2 years ago now. I almost said last year, but it'll be 2 years ago now. It was one of my favorites. So whether it's Italian wedding soup or something else from their great menu, someone is going to get a gift card to Andolini's and get to enjoy it. So here's what's going to happen. The wonderful Lisa Smith is going to put names, some of your names, into this magic randomizer program and pull one out. And I am going to turn it over to Lisa to tell us who the winner of our first gift card is. Who is it, Lisa?
Hi, everyone. Our lucky winner is Heather and Steve Bond. Congratulations.
Yay, Heather.
And despite them being members of South Church, the fix is not on.
That's
there's
right.
There's lots of other gift cards. And I hear, too, that many of y'all have actually made the soup. Folks in the chat were saying that they've made the soup. I hope you're enjoying it, too. I added a little cornstarch to mine to thicken it up a little bit because I like a little more stewy soup. So hopefully you've had a little fun, too, as you've made your soup. Great. So I think we want to give one more gift card in this segment away, right?
Yep, that's right. The next one is from Yellow Grill, and it's a $50 gift card. Yellow Grill is just opening a new location in Gloucester. And so if you get a gift card, think about maybe going to their new location. Or
Especially
you can go
this time of year.
Yeah, exactly.
Especially this time of year.
Or you can go in Andover if you want. Lisa, who wins the yellow card?
Oh, nice drum roll, Alex. The winner is Noreen Mercer.
All right, Noreen, congratulations. Claire, how are we going to get these gift cards and the ones later in the night to them?
Well, we should have your emails or your regular mails on file, and so we will mail them to you. If for any reason we don't, we'll use whatever method we have to contact you and figure out a way to get it to you so you can enjoy it as soon as possible.
Congrats to our winners. We'll have more later in the night, so don't worry, you haven't missed out yet.
4 more chances.
4 more chances. 4 more chances. So we all know the difficult year we have all had because of the pandemic, because of the coronavirus. But what you may not know is that our siblings, our neighbors in Lawrence, have had an even more difficult time. I can say than myself, certainly, and then in many other communities. In fact, Claire, the positivity rate for positive tests of COVID is still above 7%, I heard.
Now, wow.
Yeah. Whereas in most of the state, I think it's below 2%.
Yeah.
And I think that just goes to show you the outsized effect COVID is having on our siblings in Lawrence, and why it's so important that we continue to support our neighbors as things seem to maybe get better in our community. Remember places like Lawrence in which it's not quite there yet, and we have more work to do, and double down our efforts to care for each other.
Absolutely.
So please know that your donations tonight and your donations of food will help the people in the greater Lawrence area meet needs for food and infant needs, and go a long way to help them see through this pandemic. Now, as you think about that help, you may be wondering, where does Neighbors in Need get all that food to feed 1,200 families a week? And where do they put it all? Well, our next video is all about that.
Last year, in spite of and because of the COVID pandemic, Neighbors in Need distributed more than 500,000 meals. Where does all that food come from? About a third comes from government sources, a third from area food banks, and the rest from individuals, corporations, and local farms. We purchase about 15% of the food we distribute. Every week, our van travels to Boston, to the Greater Boston Food Bank, to pick up about 5,000 pounds of food, and again to the Merrimack Valley Food Bank for our food from the USDA and Mass Emergency Food Assistance Program. In the past year, we have been blessed with a wealth of food donations. We are so grateful for all the people who organized Pop the Trunk food drives, South Church, St. Paul's, Ballardville Cereal Collection, and many, many others. Julie Brady and the Methuen Rotary purchased so much rice and beans. Several Boy Scout troops organized food drives, collecting food in boxes placed on their porches, and invited friends to drop off food for Neighbors in Need. And a few, in partnership with the Kindness Collaborative, organized special birthday collections to benefit Neighbors in Need. Every week, as part of Feeding America, staff picks up food from Walmart, Target, and Stop and Shop. And 2 nights a week, volunteers Jorge and Karen head to Panera at 9:30 to pick up the day's leftover bagels and pastries. Some have ordered food from our online shopping list. Others have picked up extra food from public school meals. Our traditional holiday meals were much different this year. We distributed turkey meals in 2 locations, donated by Christ Church, Forest Street, First Church Methuen, and the Boston Red Sox staff, Mansfield Partners, and the FBI Academy. In other locations, we distributed plentiful bags of special food and $25 gift cards donated by the South Church, Ballardvale, and West Parish communities. More than 25,000 in gift cards were distributed. For the past 10 years, we have been particularly concerned with the nutrition of the food we are serving. We began with a partnership with Johnson's Highland View Farm in Windham, New Hampshire. Farmer Scott still provides thousands of pounds of vegetables every summer. We have worked with many local farms to increase the amount of fresh fruits and vegetables available to our families. We receive CSA boxes from Farmer Dave, thousands of pounds of vegetables each summer from Pleasant Valley Gardens. New Balance contributed $50,000 to purchase local produce from all area food pantries, including Neighbors in Need. Every month, the Greater Lawrence Family Health Center distributes produce, and Neighbors in Need is there to volunteer and to rescue any leftover food. Last summer, we received produce from the permaculture garden at West Parish Church, the Boston Gleaners, and the gardens at the Stevens Coolidge House. And the Greater Boston Food Bank and Merrimack Valley Food Bank have provided tons of fresh produce all year round, even when it's not prime growing season. And then there's the Giving Garden. Board member Emily Strong and a team from South Church created an amazing garden at Rolling Ridge, where volunteers plant and weed and hoe and harvest fresh produce for Neighbors in Need pantries. Last year, they donated the equivalent of 37,000 servings of fruit and vegetables to feed the hungry. In the midst of pandemic chaos, we have witnessed an incredible outpouring of generosity providing so much food for hungry families. This generosity has made it possible for us to continue to provide food continuously during the past year. Thank you.
When our staff returns to the warehouse with cases of food from the food bank or food drives, it is unloaded onto a cart, taken to the appropriate section of the warehouse, and stored onto pallets or on a baker's rack. Monday through Friday, several teams of volunteers and staff arrive at the warehouse to prepare grocery bags. In addition to preparing grocery bags, volunteers and staff also sort and categorize donated or salvaged foods, as well as portioning and packaging fruits and vegetables. Each day, volunteers prepare enough grocery bags with a nutritionally balanced variety of non-perishable food products, such as canned vegetables, canned beans, canned tomato sauce, canned fruit, canned meat, soup, macaroni and cheese, cereal, oatmeal, rice, and pasta. Once grocery bags are completed, they are then stored on the red carts ready for the following day's pantry distribution. We strive to have a diversity of produce at our pantries. During the spring and summer months, we receive a wide variety of fresh fruits and vegetables from many local farms and gardens. However, in the late fall and winter months, the main staples become potatoes, onions, carrots, oranges, and apples. In addition, we also provide frozen meat, dairy products, and various breads or baked goods. Every Monday morning, Mary Kay and her two sons, Will and Jeff, portion and package produce at the warehouse.
Volunteering with Neighbors in Need has changed my family immeasurably for the better, especially since the pandemic. We found you because of our sons, Will and Jeff, who are 27 and have autism, the profound kind. They speak to communicate in short phrases, but can't read, struggle to count, and struggle with many of the activities of daily living. I'm always looking for community activities that work for my guys. And because Will liked working at a food pantry when in his school years, we tried volunteering at Neighbors in Need during a U.S. postal drive. Will really liked lifting things and carrying things and being part of a busy setting where he was a helper. So when he began attending adult day program for individuals with disabilities, we thought of you. Will started helping at the Greater Lawrence Boys and Girls Club food pantry every Thursday in September of 2018. It was applied learning of the best kind, the work that showed that his many capabilities exist that are without his disability. People were incredibly kind and appreciative at the food pantry, both the staff and the people that we serve. Everyone treated Will with respect and dignity, something sadly that is not always the case when you're different. Our fellow volunteers would greet Will each morning as if he were their own son and showed immense patience when he needed reminders. I'll never forget the kind patron in line who came at Christmas bearing a gift for Will, a tiny red box of chocolate candy. I was really touched. Someone whose basic food needs we were working to serve instead was the giver. When the pandemic hit, we, like everyone, were adrift in a sea of unknown. No day program, a lack of structure, a lack of things to do and places to go. It left Will in particular bored and confused and sometimes teary. So when Neighbors in Need opened its warehouse to volunteers in May of 2020, it was an answer to our prayers. Will's twin brother, Jeff, also joins us now, along with the helper. Every Monday, we have a place to go, a responsibility to fulfill, and someone whose life we are making better. The four of us are a merry band of produce packers. We usually pre-portion potatoes, sweet potatoes, onions, and more into produce bags. Other days, we walk around a table putting one item each of 7 or 8 things into a bag. Working at the warehouse has meant tremendous growth for both of my sons in their ability to follow directions, stay on task, count, and complete a multi-step task. One of our finest days as volunteers was a Monday ahead of a major snowstorm, when the rush was on to make and deliver COVID bags. These are pantry bags brimming with extras because these families cannot get out to fulfill life's basic needs. It was a zoo at the warehouse with extra volunteers calling and arriving and stuffing their cars to the rooftops with bags to deliver to strangers. As I watched Will and Jeff follow novel commands to fill these COVID bags and carry them out into the slippery snow, I knew the gift that we were giving to others was really a present for us. The world marginalizes Will and Jeff, just like it marginalizes those we serve. But at Neighbors in Need, we are part of a human brigade of hope. No matter what we look like, or how little we speak, or how much we struggle, we belong, we matter, we make a difference. Thank you, Neighbors in Need. In giving to the community with you, it is us who receive.
Claire really liked her soup. Claire really liked her soup. It's good.
Did.
It's good.
I did.
It's good.
So welcome back. I just had to have another bite of soup.
I can't blame her.
Wondering if during that video of our warehouse, you noticed what it looked like. Kind of tired? We think so. And we're really excited because we are in the process right now of negotiating new space. We're going to be moving our warehouse to the same building that our Neighbors in Need offices are in Lawrence, which is going to be wonderful for the two places to be close together. Both groups of people will be in touch with one another, but it's larger, it's going to be newer and cleaner, and we get a new refrigeration and freezer unit, and so that will allow us to meet the increased needs of our growing client base. Again, we couldn't have done that if all of you hadn't been as generous as you've been in the last year, so we thank you for that. And Alex, as I was watching that video and listening to Linda talk about how we had to totally reinvent Neighbors in Need, it occurred to me that we kind of had to totally reinvent Soups On this year too. We were kind of hoping through the fall that we might be in a position to be able to have a live event. And we kept waiting to make a decision and waiting, and finally in January we realized, nope, can't do it. But we do want to do something this year, and that's when we decided to do a virtual event. A lot of you have probably been to some virtual events. Maybe some of you have been involved in them, and you know what it takes to get it done and to make it work. So we had a wonderful Soups On team this year that helped us to accomplish all that, and I'd like to do a shout out to them right now. That includes Ben Kellman, Diana Kiesel, Rob Thomas, Donna Kelly, who did this beautiful background, Rachel Combs, Robin Gilbert, and of course our Neighbors in Need staff, Executive Director Linda Zimmerman, Deputy Director Lisa Smith, and our Merrimack College Fellow Shilpa Kulkarni. I want to thank you for your time, your creative ideas. It was so wonderful just for all of us to bounce ideas off one another and come up with a better result because we had a lot of different ideas. And just a fun group to work with. So we thank you. I also want to thank our spouses, significant others, and people who live in our households who haven't been getting a whole lot of attention in the last few weeks. So thank you, everybody. Thanks, John.
And a special recognition again to Shilpa and to volunteers, Julie St. Cyr and Lucas Bocci, who had so much to do with our production tonight, the videos that you are seeing tonight, and everything that goes into putting on a virtual event. In fact, Lucas is here in our studio. Say hi, Lucas.
Hello.
Hopefully you heard him. So thanks to everyone, including each of you, who made tonight possible. So, Claire, I think it's time to do some more raffles. What do you think?
Awesome.
Excellent.
Good idea. Who's
Excellent.
first?
How about Burton's?
Ooh, I love Burton's
Who doesn't
Grill.
like Burton's, right?
You know, I always love the soup they give us at Soups On, but what I really like is when I go to their restaurant and have a martini.
So the key question is, gin or vodka?
I don't care.
Oh, I knew I liked you, Claire.
As long as it's sweet.
I knew I liked you. Now, I only drink gin martinis.
Okay.
But do you have a preference? You can let me know in the comments and we can debate about that later. But maybe we can meet up after the pandemic's over and share a martini, have a martini at Burton's.
At Burton's, sounds good to me.
But let's give away that gift card so someone
All right.
else can have what they like and want at Burton's.
Great.
All right, we're going to turn it back over here to Lisa for our next $50 gift card.
Excellent. Our lucky winner is Sophie Milliken for a $50 Burton's Grill gift card.
All right, congratulations, Sophie. All right, congratulations. We'll be getting that to you. Let's do one more, I think. This time, let's do one for Palmer's.
Oh, Palmer's, they gave us chilies. Well, not last year, but the year before.
2 years
I keep
ago.
forgetting that we haven't done this for a couple years
Right?
live. Their chili's really good, and
excellent.
it's even better than mine.
Oh, I won't get in the middle of that. I think we better just give this gift card away.
All right, let's do it.
All right, Lisa, who's our next winner?
Willa and Bill Rapp.
All right.
Yay!
Will and Bill, congratulations. $50 gift card to Palmer's. If you haven't won yet, don't worry. We still have two more. We still have two more. And one of them, I love all of these restaurants, but I love one of the restaurants. Actually, both of them I really love, but coming up next, and I know you will too. So stay with us, and there are two more chances to get one of these gift cards.
Good.
So we've been hearing a lot about Neighbors in Need in our videos so far. We just heard about our food and our warehouses, but let's jump over to our pantries and go on a trip to deliver food to families who can't get to the physical pantries right now.
Monday through Friday, staff arrive at the warehouse and load the van with grocery bags or pantry boxes, frozen meat, produce, dairy, and bread. They then drive to the current day's scheduled pantry distribution. Neighbors in Need distributes food at 11 different sites strategically located in the neighborhoods of Lawrence, Andover, and Methuen. The pantries are located at local churches, organizations, and housing facilities. We deliver the food to these locations to help better serve our disabled, elderly, and food insecure clients. When staff arrive at the morning walk-up pantry, they begin by setting up the folding tables and cones. Our patrons social distance 6 feet apart in a line, awaiting their turn to receive their food. Staff places pantry boxes or grocery bags full of non-perishable food items, including meat, dairy, and produce, on the folding table. Before receiving their food, pantry assistant Bianchi asks their name, how many people are in their family, and if they have any special dietary restrictions or needs. We do our best at accommodating the patrons, as some may have food allergies, intolerances, or preferences. During the COVID pandemic, to help accommodate clients that are unable to make it to one of the morning pantry locations, Neighbors in Need delivers food for 2 evening drive-through pantries, one located at South Church in Andover and one located at First Church in Methuen. Clients do not have to leave their vehicles, as our volunteers and staff ask for the required information and put the food in their trunk. We also deliver food to the YWCA FINA House, which houses teen mothers and families affected by domestic violence, Windsor House, a rooming house, 65 Union and Valebrook, which are both lower-income elderly housing facilities located in Lawrence. As of the last few months, we have been included in the City of Lawrence restaurant program that has funded local restaurants to send freshly prepared meals to every one of our pantries in Lawrence. Our mission is to fulfill the needs of our neighbors with respect and dignity, and as a humanitarian organization, our philosophy stands: in a world with so much waste, not one person should go hungry.
Saludos, mi nombre es Bianchi, trabajo para Neighborhood in Need, institución que ayuda a las personas con necesidades alimenticias en Lawrence, Massachusetts. Tengo alrededor de 2 años en la posición de coordinadora de alimentos. Mi experiencia en este trabajo, especialmente en estos tiempos de pandemia, ha sido muy gratificante, ya que hemos ayudado a muchas familias a recibir alimentos en su mesa. He notado un gran aumento de personas que se acercan a nosotros para recibir una funda de alimento, y eso me llena de satisfacción, ya que creo que hemos ayudado a resolver una parte de sus necesidades. Me siento feliz de pertenecer a este gran equipo de trabajo, ya que somos una institución que nuestra prioridad es tratar a las personas con respeto e igualdad. Muchas gracias.
Every Wednesday for almost 4 years, I've come to the Neighbors in Need warehouse to get food to deliver directly to families who are unable for any number of reasons to access the pantries. At the warehouse, I pick up pre-packed bags with staples including pasta, meat, and produce, along with the special request bags that I pack. Most of my families I know pretty well now. Wendy can always use extra toiletries for the 5 grandchildren she took in when her daughter died, and she's so proud of the little memorial garden that she and the kids made next to the front door. Judy sends me a list every week of items she wants me to look for in the warehouse, and her favorite weeks are the ones when I can bring sweets from the Panera donation. Tamara and her son have severe dietary restrictions, so we're always on the lookout for Ensure or Boost protein drinks, just not the vanilla ones. She loves to bake, and some weeks I leave her house with the most amazing honey cornbread, made with special honey and cornmeal that her family brings from Bermuda when they visit twice a year. Most recently, during the COVID pandemic, I've been part of an army of volunteers who deliver food to over 100 families every week. I load the pre-packed bags as well as the special food that I've selected into my car to deliver, and there are always kids' bags with special treats, recently including Easter baskets. COVID has made this past year especially trying for families, and we've seen our numbers increase dramatically. Many weeks I had added new families identified through the Contact Tracing Collaborative who were either infected with COVID or in quarantine because of exposure. Being unable to visit the pantries in person, our delivery service was a lifeline. I could spend much more time than I have enumerating the extreme obstacles and struggles faced by the wonderful people I've gotten to know. Their strength, resilience, and grace are a testament to the human spirit, and I feel lucky to be a part of their lives.
Hi, I'm Amy Holland, and I live in Andover, and I have been volunteering with Neighbors in Need for about a year. I started right after COVID. I think I was motivated by the fact that there was not much to do. My kids were home. They don't need me anymore. They're teenagers and older. And I was really looking for something useful to do. And I wanted to stay very local. So I started at the warehouse packing food. I did that for a little while. I brought each of my children with me to also pack food. I wanted them to know that COVID, the meaning of COVID was more than just we all have to stay home, that there were a lot of people really hurting and really needing food during that time. So I brought them with me. I remember thinking I needed to schedule them in there while they were still out of school because this thing was going to be over before we knew it and they would be back in school. Little did we know. And then I started driving and delivering food for Neighbors in Need. And I really, really enjoy that. I've been doing it ever since. I also have brought with me each member of my family, including my husband, to just give them an idea of what COVID has meant to other families. Our family was very fortunate. We didn't lose any income. Obviously, life changed quite a bit, but our income was intact, and that is not the case for many, many families out there. So I wanted to make sure that everybody in my family saw that. And myself too. I mean, that was definitely a motivating factor. But it's been interesting. I have been delivering food to some of the same families for quite a number of weeks, and you get to know who they are and the members of their family, and really make a difference. And I have enjoyed it very much, and I hope to continue doing it for a while. And I would like to thank Neighbors in Need for the opportunity to do that.
Claire, it has been so amazing to see all the faces in these videos, hasn't it?
Yep.
And I know over the past year that Neighbors in Need has seen even more faces, lots of new faces, because one of the things Linda told me was that almost immediately when the pandemic hit, folks picked up the phone, sometimes for the first time, and said, how can I help?
Yep.
What do you need? What can I do? People just like you and the others we've seen in the videos have reached out to find out how they can have an impact, how they can help. And we're so, so thankful for that, particularly in this last year, because as you can imagine, and you might already know, that we've had to switch from choice pantries in which clients can come and shop similar to a grocery store to a prepackaged program, which requires a lot more hands, a lot more volunteers, a lot more coordination. So a big, big, big thank you to everyone who has volunteered for the 1,000th time or the first time over the past 14 months. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You have put in over 10,000 hours over the past year. Can you believe it? 10,000 hours. Thank you so much. Know that your time is having an impact, a real impact on the 1,200 families a week that Neighbors in Need serves. Thank you, thank you, thank you to volunteers, old and new. A big thank you on behalf of Neighbors in Need.
And I'll second that.
Amen.
Should we do the last two raffles?
I think so.
These last two raffles are from a couple of the restaurants that have been involved in making up meals that we distribute at our pantries that Linda talked about in the video just a while ago. One of them is Coco Ray's. It's a $25 gift card. Coco Ray's is in Lawrence. Really a cool story. They started up as just a startup operation. I think it was through some sort of a grant, and did really, really well. Started out as a food truck. They now have moved into regular store space, and they're doing really well. So we're so happy to see their success. And why don't we see who won the Coco Ray's gift card?
Oh, good. I was waiting for that to go. The Coco Ray's gift card goes to Melissa Litton.
All right, Melissa, congratulations. You're going to wish I didn't know you because I'll be...
You might be saying, when are we going to Coco Ray's, right?
I miss Coco Ray's.
All right, and then the other one that also participated in the program to make the meals and have them delivered at the pantries is Cafe Azteca in Lawrence. They have such good Mexican food. I love them, so I would love it if somebody I know wins this card. Is it somebody I know, Lisa?
Oh, they're great Neighbors in Need supporters, Gary and Jan Goldstein.
All right.
Well, if it couldn't be me,
that's true.
I'm glad it's them.
Congratulations to all of our gift card winners tonight. Thank you so much. And I hope, too, Claire, that whether you won or not, that you will continue to support all of these restaurants and the many more that take part in Soups On or just in our community, because that has an impact, too, on the lives and the families of the people whom Neighbors in Need supports. So, so go out there and eat some delicious food, whether you got a gift card or not.
You bet. We have a few more sponsors we would like to recognize. Our Silver Ladle sponsors for this evening are Heather Moody Holman Realty and Me Showed Insurance. And Friends of Neighbors in Need are Rob Thomas, the Methuen Rotary, Holy Family Hospital, and Daymark Woodcraft. So we thank you all for your support. We want to tell you about a program that you may not be as familiar with related to Neighbors in Need, and that's our Diaper Program. Neighbors in Need has distributed diapers on rather a small scale for years, probably 10 or 15 years ago, or maybe since the beginning of Neighbors in Need. But we really have recognized in recent years the fact that people's needs go beyond food insecurity, and particularly for families that have small children, for diapers and for formula. And Lisa, our deputy director, has been a real driving force behind growing that program in recent years. So now she's going to tell you more about the current state of Neighbors in Need's diaper program.
Diaper need is the lack of a sufficient supply of diapers to keep an infant or child clean, dry, and healthy. 1 in 3 U.S. families suffers from diaper need. Babies use 8 to 10 diapers a day, adding up to almost $1,000 per year per child in diaper costs. Yet there is no public support that helps families purchase diapers. And daycare centers often require a week worth of diapers. So, no diapers, no childcare, no work. For much of Neighbors in Need's history, we have helped provide families with basic needs such as diapers, as well as other infant supplies, like formula and wipes. 60% of the diapers we distribute are donated and collected by Communities Together, the Mother Connection, the Merrimack Valley Christian Men's Christmas Eve Breakfast, and many, many more. Prior to COVID closures, we distributed diapers at our Lawrence office. Now, for more than a year, volunteers have been delivering diapers to as many as 400 families each month. The process starts with families calling our office asking for help. Staff or volunteers answer the calls and complete intake forms and take requests for supplies. We group the orders into delivery routes, print labels, and pack each order. Clothing, car seats, high chairs, and pack-and-plays and strollers have all made their way to our office from a variety of donors and then found new homes with our families. Volunteers arrive in front of our office and we bring a wagon load of diapers down to their waiting cars. Before delivering, volunteers call or text families to let them know they are receiving a delivery. We tell our families that deliveries may take up to 10 days, and most deliveries are made within 2 to 3 days. Last year, Neighbors in Need distributed 100,000 diapers and wipes, as well as 11,000 bottles of formula. None of this would be possible without your support.
Hi, I'm Janice Phillips, and this is my daughter Abigail, and we want to tell you a little bit about our journey with Neighbors in Need. It started about more than a year ago, when my good friend Lisa Smith called me. She actually called to get contact information for my very good friend Christina Minicucci, who is our state representative. It was at the very beginnings of, when COVID was starting to come down the line. And just that one phone call with that question set off this huge chain reaction that led to basically a full year of diaper and formula delivery. And Abigail jumped right in also, and she'll tell you a little bit about her experience.
So right at the beginning of COVID, my mom, suddenly we had a lot of diapers in our house and wipes, and there was a lot of it, and formula, yeah. And each night we would put together our list of people who needed our help, and I would draft Abigail. And what did you usually do? I was just packaging wipes up into plastic bags for hours, and I would fill deliveries. I would have the little name with all of their needs written down, and I would put them in plastic bags, wrap them up, and group them all together so that they could go out for delivery. And I had just gotten my permit at the time, and so it was actually a really great opportunity for me to practice driving, because we had to deliver all this stuff to Lawrence, houses in North Andover, and it was a really cool experience to get to practice driving, but also more importantly to help the people around me and to make a difference in the community.
So yes, it took us a little while to refine our system, but eventually, several weeks in, and we actually also did in fact keep all of the diapers and wipes and formula at our house for a period of many, many months. And then really during that time, it was really a great way to engage with the community, to really get firsthand experience of what some of the needs are. And again, I know Christina has continued to work hard, even putting forth legislation to help, families who need diapers and formula. So for me, it inspired me to continue to get involved in my community, and at an even deeper level. So I'm now a member of the select board, and I'm not so sure I would have jumped into that adventure if it weren't for my experience with Neighbors in Need. So we are super grateful, and we'll continue to be involved from now until forever. Definitely one of the coolest parts for me was meeting or getting to know so many different people because I was recruiting volunteers. So I literally put the word out to anybody and everybody I knew, and each week we had an entire group of people who would come and pick up their orders and map out the routes and deliver. And it was different people every week, and there were people who were there once or twice a week, and it was a really solid team effort, and we're incredibly grateful for the thousands and thousands of diapers that got put into the hands of people who need them.
Thanks, Lisa. It's so great to see what we've accomplished in just a few short years, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next few, because I know we've got some good things on the docket that we're going to be trying to do with the diaper program. In a minute, we're going to give you one last chance to support the work that you've seen in the stories tonight. But first, we want to do a great big another general thank you to all of our generous supporters, all of you, and so many others for your generosity this year and last year. It was just amazing, the responses we got when we sent out emails or did social media posts, or just people sending us donations to help us do the work that we're doing. All of you made it possible for us to make the changes and continue to support the needs of the people in Greater Lawrence. And we're just so thankful for you. Even some supporters told us they were donating their stimulus check, which that's pretty generous. So we just appreciate everything. And for that, all of you are among the things that we're the most thankful for.
Thank you for your generosity over the last 14 months, for the years prior, and your generosity moving forward. But as Claire said, you have a chance right now to make maybe your first contribution tonight, or maybe a second, or even a third. Whatever it might be, we're thankful. Whatever amount it might be, we are so thankful. If you haven't already given yet, a reminder to you how you can do that. The link is really easy. It's needfood.org/soup. There you can make a pledge in which you can let us know your financial commitment, and you can fulfill that electronically, via check, many ways in the future. Or you can make your donation tonight electronically, so we, Neighbors in Need, has that money immediately for them to put to good use. So this is normally in the night when we would have a paddle raise. I think we have one here from a previous year. So normally we would all be gathered together. You'd have one of those, and you'd be holding it up tonight throughout the night. And I might even be ribbing you a little bit here or there. And I can't do that tonight, obviously, because I can't see all of you. But I know that I don't even need to do that tonight. I think the videos that we've seen, the testimony we've heard, and everything we know that has been going on over the past 14 months is enough proof, is all we need to tap into our generosity and support Neighbors in Need tonight. So our first paddle race tonight, the first level in which you can support Neighbors in Need tonight, is at the $1,000 level. As you might know from previous years, $1,000 can help feed a family for a whole year. Unbelievable, isn't it, Claire?
Yep.
Just $1,000 can help Neighbors in Need feed a family for a whole year. Remember, Neighbors in Need feeds 1,200 families a week. So imagine the impact you can have on one of those real families.
And a lot of people, I think, spend $1,000 a month on groceries. So
I know, I shop just for myself, and I get pretty close to that.
Yeah.
So when you start thinking about it, $1,000 goes such a long way and has a real impact and isn't even that big of an ask. It really, really isn't, with what Neighbors in Need can do with $1,000. I know some of you are giving at that level already. Thank you to Amy and to Sue, to Janet, Mary, many others who are pledging $1,000. Thank you so much for your contribution. Claire, did you know that in the past year, Neighbors in Need has given out over 700,000 pounds of food?
No. That's a lot of food.
700,000 pounds of food. And we know, thanks to the videos we saw, that's not only just canned goods.
Right.
That's fresh produce.
Right. Right.
That is good food that is having an impact on families so kids don't go to bed hungry.
And healthy food.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And so when they get to school, they're not distracted by their hunger.
Right.
And they can actually pay attention to what they need to and not a hungry stomach. So if you are feeling compelled by this message, I invite you, there's still time to give at that $1,000 level. You can help feed a family for a whole year. And I know that feels better than holding on to $1,000 feels.
Yep.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you to Lisa and Glenn, to Patrick and Dana, and others who have given at that $1,000 level. Thank you so, so much for your generosity. 1,000 is not our only level tonight. We also have a $500 level. And you just heard a bit about the diaper program that Lisa has expanded in such an amazing way. But for $500, you can provide diapers and formula for a whole year for a family. For a whole year. Now, Claire, you know, because I already told you, I don't have any children, I'm not married, so I do not buy diapers, I do not buy formula. So all these, the sheer statistics around how many diapers, how much they cost, was staggering to me. Now, I know those of you who are parents are probably laughing at me because you know full well that babies can use 6 to 10 diapers a day.
Yeah.
That is unfathomable. A year's supply of diapers for one baby is almost $1,000?
Yes.
I mean, that is unfathomable to me. And in fact, 1 in 3 U.S. families faces a diaper need, and I think Lisa talked about that even in her video. Maybe you knew some of this, but it is all news to me, I have to be honest.
Well, they cost a whole lot more today than they did when I was putting babies in diapers.
And that price is not going to go down anytime soon, right?
Right.
But, like Neighbors in Need always does, Neighbors in Need can make your donation go a lot farther than I or you or anyone else could do on our own. So for only $500, you can give that gift of diapers and formula for 1 year. And in fact, I found out recently that even if you can afford daycare, that if you can't provide diapers to the daycare for some, that you can't even bring your kid.
Right.
So by making this gift to Neighbors in Need and allowing Neighbors in Need to help a family, you're helping a mom or a dad go to work.
And provide for their family.
Provide for their family.
Yep.
Provide for their family. And maybe be one less family that is coming to the pantry.
Right.
And we can continue that. For only $500, you can have an unbelievable impact. Thank you to Ben and to Laura, to Sandra, to Jorge, so many who are being so generous tonight, to Kim and to Ted. Thank you for your generosity tonight in supporting. I just saw Julie, thank you for your donation. So many of you are being really, really generous tonight. Thank you for all of your generosity in supporting at the $500 level. Now, if $500 seemed like a lot, and I know for some people it is, I don't want to pretend it's not. We have a $250 level too. And for only $250, you can help Neighbors in Need bring that fresh produce we talked about to the pantries. Now, in videos before, you saw a bit about the Giving Garden. You saw about all the other organizations that help source that fresh produce. Pleasant Valley, Johnson's Highlands View Farm, Farmer Dave, of course, Man Orchards. So many contribute to helping make sure that the families Neighbor in Need serves get fresh produce. Claire, I wonder, do you know how many servings of fruit and vegetables came out of the Giving Garden?
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me how many servings of fruits and vegetables we should eat a day.
Well, do you know that answer?
I think it's 4. No, it's like 8 or 9, isn't it?
Okay, I do not know the answer. Maybe you know, but it's a high number, right? It's a lot. I bet you it's more than I'm eating.
Yeah.
It's probably more than you're eating, right? So we can help families who can't just go into Whole Foods or Wegmans where I shop, right, and just pick out whatever we want. We can give such a gift to families who don't have as many choices as we do. We can give them a choice for only $250. But I was going to lift up about the Giving Garden. 37,000 servings.
Oof.
37,000 servings of fruits and vegetables came from the Giving Garden. That is absolutely incredible. Everything from apples, not necessarily just at the Giving Garden, but overall, apples and oranges, potatoes, carrots, onions, bananas, sweet potatoes, delicious fresh produce for only $250. Thank you to Elizabeth and to Julie, to Ted for donating at that level. Thank you so much. And I'm also just hearing that we have just passed $20,000 in gifts tonight. Thank you so much for your generosity.
That is wonderful.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Amazing. Thank you for your faithfulness over this past year. And tonight, for continuing to support Neighbors in Need in all the ways in which you make this mission come alive and stay vibrant in these days. Thank you so, so, so much. Claire, do you know how many pounds of produce Neighbors in Need has given away since 1983 when it was founded?
Oh, I couldn't begin to guess. 1 million.
Oh, not even close.
What?
10 million pounds of food. That's
amazing.
Overall. Unbelievable, right? 10 million pounds. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Thank you all for having an impact and continuing to send that number even higher. Now, I know, as I said, $250 for many might even feel like a lot too. I understand that completely. So we have a $100 level 2. For only $100, you can help Neighbors in Need meet the specific challenges and demands that has been created by COVID over the past year. Over the last year alone, there have been 3,000 home deliveries.
Oof.
3,000 home deliveries. And you can imagine we need to do so much more of that now because folks are having to quarantine and folks cannot get to our pantries because we've had to adjust how we're doing that. There are 25 volunteers who are making weekly food deliveries. That not only takes time and new volunteers, but that takes more money.
Right.
That takes more money. And so your gift of $100 helps Neighbors in Need adapt and continue to make the adjustments necessary, not only in the past, because as we know, we're not out of this yet. This is not over yet. As we talked about, the positivity rate for COVID is still high in Lawrence, in the greater Lawrence area. And so there is still so much work to do. There will be ways in which Neighbors in Need will continue to have to adapt. It won't be, we're in the pandemic and we're out, right?
Right.
It's going to be a slow journey back to a new normal.
Right.
And your gift of only $100 helps Neighbors in Need continue to make those fine-tuning adjustments so that they can be right there, responsive. Every time a new recommendation from the CDC comes, the governor makes a change to what's allowed and what's not, the changes in what's going on in the greater Lawrence area, your gift of $100 makes Neighbors in Need more nimble and allows them to make the adjustments that they need to meet the demand in our community.
And every $100 helps, but if that's not something you could manage, but you feel like maybe you could manage something less, we're happy to get that too. So whatever is comfortable for you, we appreciate it.
Absolutely. And you know, Claire, you know I'm a pastor, right? And so we're a nonprofit too, right? All of, or 90+% of our contributions to the church come from generous people. Mm-hmm. And I always tell people that it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter how much you give.
Right.
Here is what you give at a certain level, the impact it will have. But every gift makes a difference.
Absolutely.
I always think of Neighbors in Need. Think of another nonprofit that you love. Imagine if everyone just gave $5 to Neighbors in Need. The impact that would have. So wherever your heart is tonight around making a gift, I hope that you will make it. You will make it and not worry about how much it is. Give what you can and know that every dollar you give will have an impact on real people, on our real neighbors who are in need.
And it looks like a lot of people are hearing us.
Yes.
Prudence, Sophie, Natasha, Jan, Sarah, Cindy, Many of you. Thank you so much.
You're being incredibly generous tonight, continuing to push that number even higher. We're above 22,000 now. Thank you so much for continuing to be generous. And even after this is over, because pretty soon I'm going to stop talking to you. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop giving.
That text link will work.
It will work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Even when we sign off.
That's right. Maybe there's a spouse that you still need to have a conversation with, right?
Right.
And this video is going to be on YouTube forever. So you can, if you need to come back and maybe you need to bring a partner or a spouse in and sit down and go, listen to what $1,000 can do. Listen to what $100 can do. To get your household there to make that gift, that's all right, come back. You can come back and watch it. You can always make that gift. Because as we talked about, the need isn't going away overnight. Need isn't going away overnight. So thank you to everyone for your generosity tonight. Thank you for every gift you have made, no matter how big or how small. It truly matters and has an impact.
Absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself. We do have one more group of folks that we would like to recognize. We have a very small but dedicated staff at Neighbors in Need that helps us do all of this work. And since March of 2020, they all have been adapting and pivoting on practically a daily basis. Things change. Some people even had to change their jobs, change the way they did the work. But everybody has just continued to contribute, and their commitment level is just amazing. So thank you to our Neighbors in Need staff. That's Linda Zimmerman, Lisa Smith, Shilpa Kulkarni, Rocco Peluso, Jamie Cadavid, Bianchi Luciano, Tosca Chirco, Steve Longo, Will Donahue, Tom Livingston, Alan Wilson, and Daniel Donahue. Thank you all so much.
You have been incredible Neighbors in Need staff. Lisa is right here. Thank you so much, Lisa. Thank you, all of you. And Claire, thank you for your leadership and everything you did all this past year to help in your way and in your role lead Neighbors in Need. So thank you so much.
And thank you for being our MC.
Happy to do it. Thanks for being my partner in crime tonight.
I think we were good partners.
I think we could take this on the road.
Let's do it.
I was going to ask folks at home, but maybe I shouldn't.
Let's not ask.
Again, thank you all so much for your generosity, for your time, for being with us, for helping make Soups On happen in this new way. We truly and quite literally couldn't have done it without you. So as we wrap up and conclude our live part of the evening, I want to turn you over to our executive director, Linda Zimmerman, for a final thank you and goodbye. But as for Claire and for myself,
good night, everybody.
Everyone.
Thanks so much.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight and for your amazing generosity. I am so grateful for all who made it possible to keep Neighbors in Need going for the past year, serving people in our community every day. Thank you to our board, our staff, our volunteers, and to all our generous donors. Thank you.